Welcome to Hot Flashes and Higher Self, the podcast where midlife becomes your awakening. I'm Soraya, a clinical hypnotherapist and rapid transformational therapist guiding women through perimenopause and beyond, embracing transformation rather than just symptom management. Each week, myself and inspiring women in wellness will dive into mindset shifts, somatic tools, spiritual practices, and the candid stories that move us towards our limitless selves. So, if you're navigating perimenopause, menopause, or simply just wondering what's next for me, then you're in the right place. Let's rise together, mind, body, and spirit. This is Hot Flashes and Higher Self. Today, I'm joined by someone whose work I deeply admire. Surekha is the founder of Whole Health Healing. She's a kinesiologist, trauma healer, and intuitive energy practitioner with over 25 years of experience helping women release what the body has held on for far too long. And what I love about Surekha's approach is how she brings together the physical, emotional, and energetic layers of healing, guiding women to understand the deeper patterns beyond their symptoms and gently unraveling generational imprints and reconnecting with the wisdom that their body has been trying to express. And her work is powerful, compassionate, and rooted in helping women reclaim their energy and step out of old cycles and rise into greater freedom and alignment. And in today's interview, we'll be exploring her journey, the magic of kinesiology and energy healing, and how releasing emotional and ancestral patterns can create profound transformation, especially during midlife and times of transition. So, hi, Surekha. Surekha, I'm saying it properly, right?
Yes.
Surekha. Welcome to the podcast Hot Flushes and Higher Self. I'm so glad that you can make it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, pleasure. So, first of all, just share a little bit about your own journey and what inspired you to become a holistic healer and launch Whole Health Healing.
Yes. So the journey started in my early 20s when I was looking for some answers. I was struggling in my life. I was experiencing physical pain in my body. Things like fibromyalgia were showing up, although I didn't know it was that then. I was getting chronic migraines, then sort of IBS and fatigue came along. And I then found a pranic healer through a friend of mine. And that was my first experience of seeing healing, having experienced it myself. And I said to myself, I want to do what she's doing. I want to learn. And that's when I started very earlier on the pranic healing journey. And then I went on to do massage therapy in my later 20s. Then I got married and had children, and I parked everything to a side until I left my corporate job, and I again a friend told me about a kinesiology session that I could go to. And I loved it. And I said to myself, I want to learn what she's doing. So I can see a pattern here. I've never said it out like this.
So you've had the pranic healing. This is what happened in your 20s. You were interested in the pranic healing. So you did pranic healing. Then you got married.
At 30, age 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you
Then
bumped into a friend who did kinesiology. So you wanted to do kinesiology.
told me about a lady in my local area that I didn't even know.
Yeah.
That was when I was around 35, something like that, 35, 36 years old. So I went off to this kinesiology session. She did use my arm to do something called muscle testing, which I'll explain later. But she managed to get all these answers from my arm and told me what to eat, what not to eat. That was very much based on food at the time, because some kinesiologists check food intolerances. It's part of what I do, but I do so much more. But at that time, it was what I needed. And then I went off and looked up kinesiology and found my lovely teacher, Andrea Clark, who I'm still very close to today, which is like nearly almost 10 years later.
Okay. So far, pranic healing followed by kinesiology. Those are the two stories, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then it follows on from the kinesiology because I was looking for a cure.
Yeah.
So the pranic healing was not enough, massage was not enough, hot stone therapy was not enough. I was
Was not
looking
enough
for
for what,
something
Surekha?
more.
Sorry, because you said you had the fibromyalgia, the chronic migraines. What were you looking
Yeah,
for help with?
when I say not enough, I wasn't looking for a cure for me.
Mm.
I was looking for a cure for other people.
Okay. But how
I
about for yourself?
knew
Because you had those conditions. What helped
I
you with that?
so that's been part of my soul's journey. And the fibromyalgia I do not have anymore
Oh, wow.
because, and this is a huge part of my journey and learnings,
hmm
because about 3 years ago I received some past life kinesiology.
hmm
And in those two sessions, because I was a guinea pig for one of my friends who was doing her exam at the time, and in those sessions, when we talking about past life kinesiology, I went through the sessions, I had these downloads and I saw images of myself in previous births. And I
Wow.
saw myself buried deep into the ground, sort of waist down. And
Mm.
I saw myself being stoned.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
by a number of people. And then I looked up the image, and there was an image uh of that happening to people. So it was real. It confirmed to me that that's what happened to me. And then that night I felt burning all over my body. So the trauma was labeled. I was aware of it because you have to be aware of what your patterns and cycles are, what your trauma is.
hmm
And it came up, and it was like my body was literally on fire. And all of a sudden, I was lying in my bed, and this energy started lifting from my body.
Wow.
And that is was the fibromyalgia releasing itself from my body. And I've had it's come up on a couple of occasions when I've been triggered by extreme fear,
hmm
but it is not present in my life. Whereas I had it for 20 years. I used to wake up with it every single day as if I've been hit by a car, and I had whiplash every single day. And I
hmm
do not have that anymore.
Wow. And that was from which one exactly was that? Which modality did you use to help you with
So
fibromyalgia?
using the kinesiology,
hmm
but going into past life. And at that point,
Past life
when I
regression?
no, it's not actually past life regression. I now today in
hmm
2025, I mean, I think I had it done in 2022, but today I call it karmic decoding, um, past life trauma release. It's very
hmm
different to past life regression. So, if
hmm
I can explain with the past life kinesiology that I now offer as
hmm
part of my services,
Past life kinesiology.
yeah,
Wow. Okay.
I've named it past
Because I've
life
never, I know
kinesiology.
kinesiology and I know past life regression, but I've never heard past life regression, not past life kinesiology. So please tell me. Tell us.
Yeah, I would love to. So, past life kinesiology is me tapping into your subconscious energy body
Mhm.
and asking your body to reveal to me what has happened in your previous births. Where has your trauma come from? And
Mhm.
I will muscle test. If you're in front of me, I will use your arm. So
Mhm.
it will go weak or strong. If you're on a Zoom call with me, I will muscle test using my own fingers. So it'll be strong or weak. And this will tell me where your trauma has come from. It will tell me how many previous lives ago. So I can ask the question, how many lives ago was it? And it will say something like 3 lifetimes ago. It will link exactly what you're going through to when where did it come from and the origin of where it was in your, it will be generational trauma or it will be past life trauma.
Okay.
And then I will then find out what the emotions were that got trapped. Because the reason why we have this physical pain is because we have unprocessed emotions and stored and trapped emotions, which are like wounds in the body.
Wow. But before you said that you had like, you could see the actual scene. So is that just for yourself, or can you see that when you see your clients?
I can see that for myself, and then it also comes in for my clients. So I work very intuitively. They might not be able to see the images, but I am able to see it for them. It might just be revealed by muscle testing answers. Other times, it might be that I go into a whole story of what happened to you in your past life and who was there. I do ask questions like, were you male or female? Were you married? Were you a child? So it reveals information to us about what happened to you when the trauma first came in.
Wow, it's fascinating. So this is something that you've created. And how long have you been doing this for, Soreka?
I have been, so energy healing, I started in my early 20s, which was a good 25 years ago. But the real transformation work came about in 2019. And it actually came from my own awakening, which was my marriage breakup. So I had been living a life of in fear, guilt, shame, not living my truth, not living out my passion, not being at my full potential. And I had an awakening because I was so unhappy. I was not going to do anything different at that time. I would have just probably stayed in my marriage, but the universe had other plans for me and woke me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, woke me up with my physical pain and with my emotional pain. And this is what I put out in 2025 today, that we cannot continue to live in that pain. And it's about understanding what that pain is trying to tell us. So I started understanding my pain. I started listening to Joe Dispenza, Gabrielle Bernstein, those kind of people who are in the transformation field, and using energy. Because what I love about Joe Dispenza is he talks a lot about energy, and I call myself an energy healer, because what I am doing is helping you to shift your vibrational frequency, fear, guilt, and shame, to love, joy, gratitude, and faith.
Yeah, which is great. Yeah. I mean, we're all made up of vibrations, aren't we? And it's about tuning into the frequency to change, to kind of be on that level that we want to bring in what we actually want to come into our life, as opposed to attracting the bad thing, which is what
Yeah,
yeah. So tuning the radio to the station we want to listen to.
it's that, because our current reality will be whatever we radiate out to the universe.
Yeah, I believe that too. So did you, going back to your past life kinesiology, was that something it evolved in 2019, the time that you broke up in your relationship, the same time you said, when you had the enlightenment? this past life kinesiology you kind of created in 2019, was that the same time you were going through this breakup of your marriage? Is that what you said?
So past life kinesiology came
Mhm.
in about 2021.
Okay,
So
so it was a few. Mhm.
I was practicing the kinesiology in 2019 alongside me going through my own transformational journey.
Okay.
It was huge. It was
Mm.
huge because I started to understand that I could change the outcome of my life based on how I felt about myself, the thoughts and feelings that I was projecting out into the universe.
Yeah.
And I was going through my own transformational journey, and I was my own guinea pig.
Mm.
So I used to stand and look in the mirror and tell myself that was absolutely beautiful. And I
Mm.
would feel it and I would know it and I would
Mm.
believe it. And for the first time in my life, I didn't need my ex, now my ex-husband, to tell me that I look beautiful because for 20 years, I was pining after him
Mm.
to tell me that I look beautiful, tell me that you love me. And yeah, I realized that I didn't need that anymore. I did not need an external person to tell me
Mm-hmm.
that I was beautiful, that they love me.
Mm-hmm.
It all started coming from within, and that's also when I started connecting more to source, the universe, or what I like to say is God.
That's incredible. I mean, I want to touch more about that a bit later on because that's something that's really interesting, especially for my listeners who are going through midlife and through that change in their life.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of kind of, it's a very difficult transition, but so I want to talk about it a bit more a bit later. But
Of
for
course.
now, I wanted just for listeners who don't really know, you explained, do you explain how kinesiology can support emotional, physical, or energetic healing?
Yes, absolutely. So kinesiology is about me tapping into your subconscious energy body to reveal answers from your body. And the way it supports you is it's decoding your pain. And what I put out on my social media as a consistent message is your pain has a message.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And we don't always know what that message is because we are so used to suppressing our
Powering
feelings,
through.
powering through. And for some people, that's their coping mechanism.
Yeah.
If they think that if they start feeling their emotions, then
Mhm.
they won't, it's like opening up a can of worms, or then people have all sorts of ideas about feeling their emotions.
Mhm.
But in a safe space, this is absolutely invaluable to be able to be held and be able to express your emotions in a safe space
Mhm.
is part of the healing. Like it's a huge part of the healing, aside from the decoding work that I do in the kinesiology.
Yeah, but the kinesiology itself, I completely agree. I do believe that pain has a message, and a lot of time in our society, people try to just cover up with a band-aid, like with a plaster, the symptoms, like by maybe like self-medicating or taking drugs.
Hmm.
Um, but it's definitely giving us a message we have to address. But how does kinesiology support the healing?
So if I can take you through the process that I
Yeah.
use
Hmm.
in sessions,
Hmm.
is, as I said, it's the decoding work that is
Hmm.
going to be of most of the support to my clients.
Yeah.
And that is the piece that what is your pain trying to tell you? That
Hmm.
is what how kinesiology supports you. And
Mm.
when we know what the message is,
Yeah.
it's you are here to learn something, right? We are here to do something different. We're
Mm-hmm.
here to break patterns and cycles.
Mm.
Now, if you keep on doing the same thing every single day for the rest of your
Mm.
life and the outcomes in your life and your current reality will remain the same. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas you're supposed to be doing something different, but you don't know what you're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm here to show you how it is that you can break those patterns and cycles. What is it that your ancestors didn't learn and you're carrying in your blood that you
Mm.
need to learn? What is it that previous versions of you in
Mm-hmm.
previous births didn't do?
Mm-hmm.
And now you're here to break those cycles.
Mm-hmm.
Kinesiology supports you with that. So then, when I find out what it is that you're supposed to be learning, and coupled with the emotions that are trapped in your body,
Mm-hmm.
which you never process, which your ancestors never processed, and are wounds, literally, like they're like bullet wounds in your body. When I
Mm.
find out what it is, I remove that bullet wound using crystal pranic healing. So
Mm-hmm.
I've got a crystal wand that I use. I locate where it is in your body.
Mm.
So step one is to understand what are the trapped emotions. Step two is to understand the patterns and cycles.
Mm-hmm.
Step three is where is it located in your body? And step four is let's remove it from your body. We
Sounds like a good
literally
plan.
remove that wound, that bullet wound from your body. And then I send healing, love, and light, which is channeled from the universe. I bring light down and I am the vessel and for the love and light, and then that comes through my hands, and then we don't put the plaster on just on the wound. We literally heal the wound from the deep roots.
And so how long does this usually take then when you're working with clients, when you do the four different steps? Is it like
So
one? Yeah.
we can
Mm-hmm.
do this all in one session.
Mm.
However, trauma comes off in layers. If you think about it, lifetimes and generations of trauma,
Mm-hmm.
we need time for the layers to come off. We
Mm-hmm.
go away and we process, we become the new version of ourselves, we shift
Mm-hmm.
our frequency, then we go again, which is why I offer a 6 week program or a 12-week program.
Mm-hmm.
My signature program, Empower Your Wings, has now been running for 6 years. Yeah, that's the one. Empower Your Wings, the path to liberation.
So, and what are some ways your clients might uncover and release deeper patterns or emotions that are hidden beneath the surface?
That is it. It's literally the generational trauma and the past life
Mm.
trauma. It is not isolated to this life because we place so much power on this lifetime and even in a child. I'll cover in a child, but that's tiny compared to our soul's journey. I work on a soul level.
Yes, I studied the Akashic records. So is that the kind of concept that we have these contracts that are in place and we have these different lives, we keep coming back? Yeah.
That's it. It's not Akashic records.
Mm-hmm.
However, Akashic records can work very well alongside what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the way I work is I
Mm-hmm.
link the trauma to what you're going through now. So, for example, if you came to me and said that you were stuck with business and you had a block and you were only moving so far in your business and you had growth in terms of money coming in and now you're not seeing any growth. I would then look at that linked to in which previous birth was then their trapped emotions related to this, or then looking at generational trauma. Which side has it come from, mother's side or father's side? Because your parents would have faced the same challenges. Yeah, your ancestors would have faced the same challenges. And then you go off and heal and you change your current reality. It's something that they weren't able to do.
I'm just thinking, like, for listeners who don't really know much about, like, these different lives that we have, is there a kind of a summary how you can explain how that works?
Yes, I can. So the only way I can describe it is we are a soul. And when we leave our bodies. So when we die, we leave our bodies, which is the costume that we wear.
Yeah, the vessel we're holding.
Yes, exactly. But the soul remains. The soul is eternal. So we then have rebirth. So we come back and we wear a different costume. So this is what I mean by we are creating cycles of birth and death. And that cyclical pattern shows up everywhere. So when I was talking about if you do the same thing every single day, you will see the same outcome. The same thing applies to the number of lives that you have been living.
Yeah.
If you do the same thing in every single lifetime
You're coming back and
and
do the
you
same
do
thing
not
again.
change, yes, you will come back in this human existence living that same life again. Is
Is the
suffering.
idea to evolve, like, so you have a different life next time? So, because I always kind of like, I like to think about things like this, from a spiritual aspect, what happens. So, would you say that if we come back into a different body, a different life, is there ever an end? At what point do we kind of like elevate and go to heaven, wherever it is that you believe in? How does that work?
Yeah, there is. This is why I named my program Empower Your Wings, the path to liberation.
Okay.
So we are the, s- the the spiritual ones who are wanting to be free from the cycles of birth and death, will want liberation, will want enlightenment. Okay, so that means we're coming away from the frequencies of fear, guilt, and shame. And to end those cycles, we are becoming one with source energy, with our creator. And when we feel that energy of the universe and we become the energy of the universe, there is no separation between you and the universe. And that is enlightenment.
So, yeah, in order to get the enlightenment, I guess you have to learn the lessons in each life until you eventually stop
Yes,
making those same mistakes.
yes,
And then you can
exactly.
actually, get the enlightenment and then be
Yeah.
elevated, I guess. Yeah.
So this brings us back to it's really important that we learn those lessons and we understand what they are. That's what I reveal in my sessions. That what are your lessons? What are you here to learn? What patterns are you here to close? What chains are you here to break? Things that your ancestors couldn't do.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Like the your perspective on how it is, because everyone's obviously got their own view, but I'm
Mhm.
fascinated by this. It's very spiritual. I want to ask you a bit more about that in a moment. Before I do that, I want to say, how does working with energy, the nervous system, or the subtle body differ from purely mental approaches when someone feels stuck or disconnected?
Yeah, so we're working with energy and vibrational frequency. You can tell someone all day, every day, oh, just be positive.
Yeah.
And I never say that to anyone, by the way, because there are times when you just cannot reframe it and just think positive. It's not just about the mind. There is trauma trapped in your body that you are unaware of, things that have been passed down by your parents,
Mm.
things that have followed you in your previous births. And I'll keep on repeating this message. This is the reason why you feel so stuck and disconnected. And all the disconnection actually comes from being disconnected to yourself, being disconnected to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
We've
Yeah.
lost that. We also, when I say being disconnected to yourself, we've lost our own identity. We don't even know who we are.
Yeah, I think there's society though, isn't it? There's this like expectation of people, the social media, and everyone's always watching the other person, trying to be something that they're not, and that's it. You're kind of getting further away from your authentic self, which leads me
It's
to my
that.
next question, which is
Hmm.
coming back to midlife.
Hmm.
Because this is the point in our life. I mean, at my age, I'm nearly 50, and it's you definitely have a shift in what's important to you and how you see yourself, and you try to kind of be more connected, to be true to what you actually want out of life. So for the women who they have shifts in energy, identity, body, and purpose, how can holistic healing support women navigating these phases?
So the way I teach women is through there's a lot of spiritual wisdom there, and I teach energy, and I teach you how to put yourself first
Mm.
without fear, guilt, and
Mhm.
shame, and how to take your power back. So, in terms of navigating these phases, it's not as easy for me to tell someone, oh, just put yourself first. You can't after years of giving to other people. So, when we're working in the sessions, I actually take my clients through a journey of taking them out of their comfort zone, helping them feel more comfortable
Mhm.
with slowly and safely putting them first, putting themselves first. And what that means, because a lot of people think it's selfish.
Mhm. Especially
But
for
what
women, I think women are, they're expected to be the serving everyone around them, and it's been selfish when they do stuff for themselves. So I think that's a very cultural thing as well. If,
very,
much
yeah,
more, even in our generation, I still feel women are expected to be there for everyone apart from themselves, and it's been considered selfish to think of themselves in any way.
absolutely. And there are some women who come to me and say, but I don't even know what it feels like to put myself first. And then to make decisions around putting yourself first feels so scary because
Mm,
there's a fear of losing people that you love.
yeah.
Because the mindset is if I started putting myself first, meaning it's an illusion. I now see myself as selfish.
Hmm.
People are not going to like me. But
Hmm.
actually, I teach women that it's the opposite. You can still be that giver,
Hmm.
but you're just filling up your own cup first.
Hmm.
So we do a lovely, lovely meditation, a chakra meditation, where we bring in love and light from the universe. We bring it down our chakras into our heart space, and we see a lovely cup in the heart space, and we start filling that up with the love and light, and we see it overfilling, and
Hmm.
we let it overfill into every cell of our body and
Hmm.
the rest of our chakras. And then when we filled ourselves up, we can then give from that overflow. And it means we're not depleting ourselves.
Absolutely. I think that's you got it spot on. I think the problem is for a lot of women, especially, we're just giving, 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 and our cup is empty. And then,
Yes,
we then burn out because we're just giving all the time. We forget about ourselves because we're not important, but actually we are very, very important.
we
Because
are.
if we don't have that energy, we can't give it to anyone else. We're going to be useless.
Exactly. If you are ill
Mm,
and you're burnt out and exhausted, how
mm.
can you give to anyone
But
else?
I think the problem is, in a lot of like, again, I go back to culture because this is what I'm used to. It's
Yeah.
the woman is always seen as a person like cooking, cleaning, and she can't afford to be sick. So she keeps powering through. But that's why I see many
Mhm.
of my clients who've been holding on to this, constantly pushing, they get very sick and it manifests in the body, the
Yeah.
disease. So I think, especially in my area, I see a lot of women coming in midlife and they can't hide it anymore. It's coming out. Like, the anger. One of
Yes,
my
it's
past guests talked about,
manifesting.
yeah, the hot flushes is like actually repressed anger being held down and like it's coming out.
Absolutely.
And so
There's
what
so much suppressed anger.
that's what hot flushes. I believe that's what it is. You have these hot flushes because you're holding on to so much over so many years.
Mhm.
Eventually, it has to come out. So when you talk about the work you do and you're having, you're working with these women, it's the idea of evolving, like, not repeating the same mistakes and actually be able to change the trajectory of the way you're going to live your life to its full potential, which is what you did, right?
Yeah.
Surekha, you're telling me
Yeah.
in the relationship you were unhappy. You
Hmm.
had to, it took you some work, but you got out of it and now you're in a better place, right?
Yes, and I use what I've been through to help others
Mm,
in a very safe, gentle, but powerful way. And I have to
mm,
say that because a lot of women are scared
of course.
of the transformation and the uncertainty. And I would like to say that it is very safe and we do it
Mm,
at your pace.
mhm.
This is why it is a 6 week or 12-week program.
Yeah, and then I think it's another thing is, a lot of us, we live the way we do because we're used to it. It's the familiar, it's what we're used to. That's why we do it. And
Yes,
sometimes change is scary,
it
you
is.
know. So it's great that you're there to support who you're working with, just to show that there is that safe space. Because,
Yeah, the support part is huge for me.
yeah. Um, so in your sessions and programs, what reoccurring themes or breakthroughs do you witness when people move through the transition?
Ah, yes. Um, oh my God, there's so much to talk about here.
Yeah, tell me.
I'll try and find
Especially, I'm
so
interested, for our listeners who are going through that midlife phase, the transition. I'm interested very much so in with clients of yours who are in that same kind of space and
Mhm.
how you worked with them.
So every single person will come with something different,
Hmm.
okay? But what we find is what you said in your question, there are reoccurring themes and breakthroughs with all of these women. I don't just work with women, by the way, but
No, no, but for
yeah,
just our listeners who are mainly
yeah,
will be women, just for
yeah.
them to see how you work in that area.
Yes. So, do you want me to explain the kind of traumas that come in, or just the outcome of the breakthroughs that they
I
have?
mean, probably maybe a bit of both.
Yeah. So what I've noticed in the last year and a half
Hmm.
is as I've started doing more deep and powerful work,
Hmm.
um, people who have been abused in many different ways
Hmm.
are coming to me, whether it's been sexual abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, um, yeah, all sorts of abuse is coming in right now, and people want to break through from that and be free from that trauma that they've lived since childhood. But then what we
Hmm.
find, of course, is that it's come through the generations and from their previous births. So, in terms of the themes, we're getting joy. So we're breaking free from living in fear, living in guilt, living in shame, living in anger.
Mm.
right? And then that sacred rage comes through when they realize that they can't live like this anymore. And they are breaking free
Mm-hmm.
into a place of like, I just feel joyful. I, I,
Mm.
I get messages like, that used to have an emotional charge on me. I used to get anxiety from that, or that certain situation used to really make me feel low, and now it's gone.
Mm.
I get a lot of messages like that where suddenly there's no emotional charge anymore on those same situations or scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what we're seeing, and this is what I call freedom, because
Yeah.
you're now not being held back
Mm-hmm.
by your wounds, by your trauma.
Yeah, you can live life on your terms, right?
Yeah, you're living life on your terms. You're living life lighter. You're feeling joy. You're just an expansive energy body,
Mm.
you're flying, which
Yeah.
is why I call it empower your wings, because you are changing from a caterpillar into a beautiful butterfly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. Love it. And from your perspective, why might this stage of life become a powerful invitation for transformation and reconnection rather than just simply a challenge? Because I think a lot of the time, people like women might see menopause as a nuisance, like perimenopause, like there's all these changes you're going through, you've got these mood swings, you kind of forget stuff. It's not really a great time.
Mm-hmm. What I will say about that
Mm,
is we naturally want to blame something for the way that we feel. If we don't
mm,
feel good, we're going to blame it on the menopause, right? It's
mm,
everywhere out there. But actually, the way that you feel came long before the
mm,
menopause ever even started to enter your life.
mm,
So I want women to look at this as, again, an awakening. Because if
mm.
you didn't um, tune into it before, and this is the only time you're hearing this information, because
Loudspeaker.
yes, this is again a way of awakening,
Mm,
knock, knock, knock. I'm here to present you with an opportunity to change. Do not see me as the bad guy. We
yeah.
do that with a lot of things. We do that with marriages that don't work out. What do?
Mm,
We blame it on the partner. We
mm,
blame it on money not coming in. So we start bad mouthing money, and
mm,
money is beautiful. It's also an energy. So we want to shift from blaming something outside of ourselves and
mm,
actually using it as an opportunity to go within and
mm.
upwards.
Yeah, I think that's a really great way of looking at it. It's it's again, it's that pain has a message. So the symptoms are in a way like a message to kind of like stop, pause, and take stock of what's going on to actually do something, which is quite
Yes.
empowering, I think it is.
Very empowering, because you're taking your power back. You're
Mm,
now suddenly in control of your life
mhm,
versus I'm letting menopause control my life, or I'm letting a man control my life, or money control my life. You take your power back and you sit in the driver's seat now.
mhm. Yeah, it's going back to like the teachings by people like Dr. Joe Dispenza, we create our own reality. It's what
That's
we're
it.
putting out there.
Yeah, and you need to believe that you are the creator of your reality.
Yeah,
You get to
it's one
design
thing
your
saying
life.
it, but you actually have to really embody that belief. And I guess that's something that you do when you work with your clients. You're working
Yes.
on that kind of deeper belief
Yeah, and I
patterns.
don't recommend that you do it all on your own. Another thing that I've been wanting to put out there is that we watch all this social media.
Mm,
There's loads out there, believe me. It's a good support tool, but we
yeah.
think that we're healed. We
Mm,
think that we're healed by just watching a couple of reels here and there
mhm, mhm,
and listening to YouTube
mhm,
um, meditations, but that is not healing. It's you need more. You need the decoding piece. You need the trauma to be released from your body. So
mhm.
I invite you to be open to that versus having this mindset that I can just do it by myself and I'm done.
Yeah, speaking about that, so I know you offer one-to-one sessions and holistic programs that you mentioned already. You've got the three different programs, right? Yeah, so what kinds of transformations have you witnessed in those healing spaces? Can you just give me like one or two examples? What have you seen when the clients come to you? How have they left different?
So a couple of recent clients, there was one lady who, if I can say, was abused as a child, sexually abused,
Mm-hmm.
and she spent her whole life living in this trauma in a really low space where she was always giving her power away. There was blocked joy. She never had that inner sense of joy or happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And she came to me on my 6 week program, and literally within the first 3 to 4 weeks, we started seeing the changes. She had started shifting her vibrational frequency. She started feeling happier. She came away from a relationship that she wasn't happy in. She started living authentically and began to feel safe to live that life. And she says to me, like, why didn't I find you in my 20s? Like, why didn't I find you X number of years ago? I wish that I had because I feel so good. And so that's one lady. And then recently, another lady who's on my Empower Your Wings program, who is now on my second program called Empower Your Passion and Fly. We have seen her heal from uh, 25 years of depression. She was
Mm-hmm.
on depression tablets. No doctor could help her. She herself never thought that she would be well.
Mm-hmm.
And she's come out of her depression and it's never going to come back.
Wow.
She feels
But
joy. She goes out for walks every day. She is now um, got her business up and running.
that's a lovely. Thank you for that's an amazing story. Thanks for sharing. So these clients have come to you on these programs. Their frequency has changed. So does that mean they don't need to do any other work on that? Is that they're good to go, or is that something you recommend regular sessions? So it's kind of like keep it up there.
It's different for everyone. So the lady who came to me on my 6 week program is now on my 12 week program.
Mhm.
She healed, she transformed so quickly, which is not the case for everyone, but she jumped the queue and she moved straight onto Empower Your Passion and Fly program. And there are other ladies who come along and start off with Empower Your Wings initially. So it's different for everybody.
So say, for instance, a client comes to you for like a one-to-one session to deal with an issue and their frequency is improved, they can see the change. Do they have to come back regularly to keep the frequency
Uh-huh.
up?
So there are instances where they can do my 12 week program and we get the guidance to say, okay, you're good to go, you don't need any more. And there are some people who continue their journey and there's more work to be done.
Mhm,
Not in terms of work, it's more like your soul is evolving
mhm,
and there is more to be revealed. There is
mhm,
more deep work to be done.
mhm,
And I work very intuitively. There are some clients who I say to, you don't need any more. Um, we don't need to do any more. And I'm honest about that. And then where I get the guidance, I say, you'll benefit from continuing.
Okay, so everyone depends who they are. It's a different case by case, depending on who they
Yeah,
are. Okay.
and the women really appreciate that. There's one woman I said, after one program, you don't need to do anymore. And she said, thank you so much. She said, you could have taken my money and just told me to do more. And I said, it's not about that. I said, I'm here to do the right thing by
Mm.
my clients. If I think that you'll benefit from doing more, I will encourage you to do more. But if you're done, then I'll say have a break. And if you want to come back to me later in 3 to 6 months' time, like you know where to find me.
Yeah, but I think that's so important as a, wellness practitioner, just to be honest and to really have the best interest of your client at heart. And that's what makes a good
Always,
practice.
always,
Yeah.
and keep them in that safe space.
Mm.
My business is built on trust.
Hmm.
And I've been doing this for, I've got 25 years of experience in energy healing and this transformation work. And I've been on social media for 6 years. I'm all over social media. So you can look me up anywhere and you will find comments, reviews, and it's
Hmm.
all the same, the results, showing the results of my work. And I'm quite
Yeah,
proud of that.
yeah, as you should be. I think, but again, we do have a really important part in our clients' lives, and they trust us. So it's so important to
So
be,
important.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I was going to ask you now. You're coming to the retreat in November. I'm so excited for
Mhm.
that. You're coming
So
with your colleague,
excited.
with Nimi. You guys will be at the retreat. I think it's on the
Together.
Saturday, the 29th, the Saturday,
Yeah.
right? What can we expect from you on that day?
Yeah, so we've got a lovely, lovely collaboration lined up. So Nimi will be running the cacao ceremony
Mhm.
and doing a little bit of journaling. And then I will follow with my lovely back flowers.
Mhm.
So these back flower remedies that you can take under the tongue, which help you to shift your vibrational frequency. And we'll be doing some crystal pranic healing. I'll have my magic wand there.
I like the sound of it.
Yeah, we'll be doing some releasing and letting go of the trauma that we're holding on to,
Mhm.
shifting from fear, guilt, shame, anger, resentment, and frustration into higher frequencies such as love, joy, gratitude, bliss,
Mhm.
and empowerment.
It's a great way to open up the retreat because that will be the first session we have on the Saturday. So I think that's a really perfect way to start it.
Yeah, I'm super
So
excited about that.
thank you for that. And then could you share one simple embodiment, energy, or body wisdom practice that listeners could try at home today to reconnect with themselves?
Yes, it's something that I mentioned earlier, which is filling up your cup.
Hmm.
And this is something that has just come about, and I do it again and again when we bring our feet to the floor so that we're grounded to Mother Earth,
Hmm.
and we bring in light from the universe, bring it down through our crown, which is at the top of the head,
Hmm.
to the third eye in the middle of the eyebrows, down to the throat chakra, and into our heart space where we see this beautiful cup. And we see that beautiful love and light filling up our cup. And as it fills up, you can see that beautiful overflow. And that is when you give to the rest of your chakras, the solar plexus, the sacral, your root chakra at the bottom of your spine, and bring it all the way down to your legs, to the soles of your feet, and give to every cell in your body and feel and see each cell smiling away because it has been so nurtured and so nourished. And when you have filled up your cup and filled up and charged up your whole body with love and light, that is when you can bring it up back into your heart space and send out that love and light to all the people that you love, like we love doing. We don't want to stop you from giving. That's not what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to fill up our own vessels and feel that beautiful energy within ourselves so that we feel good, and then we can expand and radiate that out.
Well, that felt very relaxing. So thank you. I did practice that. Oh,
Lovely. Yes, I have a beautiful recorded meditation with that, the longer version of that.
even that short one was really nice. So I just think it's just taking that few minutes to yourself, makes a difference.
Yeah, as you can see, it just takes a few minutes.
Yeah, that's the best way. Time saver. We can't
Hmm.
say we haven't got time for that.
No,
So, do you have a personal ritual or daily habit that helps you stay grounded in the line of your deeper truth or higher self?
I do. Alongside that particular meditation and an energy protection
Mm-hmm.
ritual that I do, I would like to talk about more the daily habit that I embody, which is being my truth and honoring myself.
Mm-hmm.
Having had a lot of chronic physical manifestations in my body, it has taught me to see my energy as sacred. I do not do anything that dishonors me and my energy. So if someone asks me to do something that goes beyond my boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
I will just be truthful and say that I cannot do it. And I've learned to do that over the years without any fear or guilt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about being true to myself
And not
every
afraid to
single
say no. I think not afraid to say no. I think that's a
not
good one.
afraid to say no and having clear boundaries. And
Mm-hmm.
people respect me for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People respect me for it. They, like I just, before I came on the call, I had someone message me saying, can you take a call right now? And I said, I will call you when I'm free
Mm-hmm.
in 2 hours' time. So I have no guilt about doing that.
Mm.
You see?
Yeah, this thing that we always try and do so much is this fear of missing out, but it's actually you've got to pick what you want to actually do. You
Yeah.
can't do everything, so we become burnt out, and you also become resentful. So it's so good. That's a great tip. Just say no when you want
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
unless you
And
want to
I
say yes.
also um, help and support my clients to go on that journey
Mm,
when it feels fearful to say no. Because if you've always been a yes person and you've been a people pleaser,
that's
to
one.
say no overnight is scary because how are people going to
Mm,
react to you?
hmm
Right? So we change our energy first. We start honoring ourselves
hmm
first. You might not have to
hmm
say no in the beginning. It might just be done with your energy. You might just want to slowly distance yourself from someone that is overstepping the boundaries. So you
hmm
see, this is why you need someone to guide you through that process.
Got it. Yeah, makes sense. And what's lighting you up most in your work at the moment, Soreka?
Oh my goodness, what isn't lighting me up?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Lighting me up is the fact that I can help so many women get life-changing results. And the work is becoming so much more powerful as I grow and evolve and have stepped through my own fire, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I am also stepping into a space where I'm running ceremonies. There was a time when I had fear about that as well. So I do collaborations with other healers. So I'm doing Kundalini work at the moment in North London. And I think the biggest thing for me at the moment is doing this fusion of Kundalini and kinesiology. I'm trained in Kundalini, so I'm working with another practitioner. Um, we're doing this lovely, lovely fusion, which is new, and it's about raising the life force energy, Kundalini energy,
Yeah.
alongside with kinesiology and trauma release, and it just works so well. So that's
Exciting. Something
yeah.
new that you're working on now.
Yeah.
And if you could leave women listening with one message about reconnecting their power, body, and purpose, what would it be?
It would be that you have permission to put yourself first. It's something that one of my uh I did a talk the other day, and one of the listeners said to me, "Thank you for giving us permission to put ourselves first." Because sometimes we don't know that we can. We don't know that it's okay to do that. We
Mm,
don't know it's a possibility. So I'm putting out the message to women that it is safe to put yourself first. You have a right to put yourself first.
yeah.
You don't need to be the one juggling all of the plates, burning yourself out, sacrificing yourself, just like you've seen, growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and like we've done in our previous births where women have been suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
We don't
Yeah.
need to be suppressed anymore. And I want you to know that it's possible for you to feel joy and for
Mm-hmm.
you to feel free and you to feel like you can be your true self.
Yeah, without fear of how you're perceived, right? Yeah.
Yes, without judgment.
hmm Yeah, I think that's
You
powerful.
are, yeah, you can be your truth without judgment.
hmm Yeah, I believe that as well. And what's something your body or intuition has been teaching you lately?
Oh, wow. So I'm very connected spiritually, and what's been coming through for me is this message of faith.
Mhm,
I have so much faith in the universe, God,
mhm,
and in my darkest hour, in times where I've had excruciating pain, I now see that as part of my evolvement. I see that as my karmic cleansing, and I've literally seen magic happen around me.
mhm,
And so I'm always invited by the higher powers to
mhm,
look at the magic. And I just keep on evolving. I know that I'm a cycle breaker. I know that I'm on the path to liberation. And I know that I've broken cycles and I've rebirthed myself many times in this lifetime. But I feel like what I've been through recently in the last 2 months has probably been my biggest awakening and rebirth, which is why I can then see those results appearing when I'm working with my clients at the moment. The transformations are off the scale at the moment.
Right, okay. And What does living as your limitless self mean to you right now?
It is living with ease
Mm-hmm.
and softness.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas once upon a time, I was so hard on myself. You know, I've been through my own personal journey with my marriage, with my family. You know, I'm an independent woman. I've got two beautiful children, and the limitless self for me means that everything comes with ease. And I not only step into my divine feminine, but I use it interchangeably with my masculine. Because there's
Mm-hmm.
so much out there about females stepping into their divine feminine, but actually doing this Kundalini tantric work that I do, don't know how many people know about Shiv Shakti work, which is the divine feminine and the masculine. I have learned to weave the two interchangeably, and it works so well for me because I am so adaptable and I'm so flexible, and this is the softness that I'm talking about. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to be so hard on myself when all I focus on is my vibrational frequency
Mm-hmm.
to be of one with the universe. I am one with my creator, and all I see is magic. And I am a magnet to everything that I desire for my
Mm-hmm.
highest and best good.
Love that. It's great. Thank you so much, Soreka, for coming today. And before I let you go, just please let me know, or let our listeners know how they can reach if they want to work with you.
Yes, so you can find me on Instagram, Whole Health Healing,
Mm-hmm.
and on my Facebook, Surekha Lalita.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, those are the probably two best ways because I'm all over social media, or my website, which is
Mm-hmm. Okay.
whole.healthhealing.co.uk.
Okay, so I'll drop that down in the show notes. And yeah, so thank you for today. And I'll see you at the retreat, the 30th of November. You'll be joining on the Sunday. No, Saturday, sorry, the 29th.
Okay. Yes, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It's been so lovely talking to you, Soraya.
Yeah, likewise, Surekha. So I'll say goodbye for now. And yeah, I'll see you on the 29th of November.
Yeah, see you
Bye.
on the 29th. Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to Hot Flashes and Higher Self. And if something in today's episode spoke to you and you're feeling ready for deeper support, then you can book a one-to-one session with me. I work with women around the world to help them shift from stuck to self-led. And if you're craving real connection, movement, rest, and reset, then check out the women's retreats I host. They're a beautiful mix of healing, hot yoga, incredible food, and soul-deep conversations and connections. And you can find all the details at www.ls-therapy.com, or come hang out with me on Instagram at Limitless Self Therapy. And you can also reach me directly anytime at soraya@lstherapy.com. I'd love to connect. Take care of you, fill that cup of yours, and remember, your next chapter is already unfolding.